all think about professional growth, right? Moving up, getting better,
Yeah.
achieving more.
Yeah, definitely. It's always on our minds.
But how many of us truly master the tools for that growth? You know?
That's a great question.
What if one of the most powerful tools is actually something we often dread? Or maybe, I don't know, just dismiss?
You mean feedback?
Exactly. Feedback.
It's true. It often gets a bad rap, doesn't it? Like it's just criticism.
We're just a one-way street, a necessary evil, maybe?
But really, it can be this dynamic superpower,
Mm.
if you use it right, for really accelerating your career.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what we're digging into today.
Okay.
This deep dive is, well, it's a real-world glimpse, a look into a conversation between a manager, David, and an employee, Emma.
Right. Navigating performance, feedback, ambition, the whole package.
Yeah, think of this as like a roadmap for your own professional journey.
So the source material we're using,
Go on.
it's an excerpt from something called Navigating Professional Growth, a feedback dialogue. And it really gives us this detailed, almost fly-on-the-wall view of how a good, productive feedback chat actually unfolds. Lots of lessons in there.
Right. So our mission today really is to pull out those concrete strategies for giving feedback.
And for receiving it.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Exactly. And to see how feedback isn't just, fix this, it's actually a pathway.
To strategic career moves.
Yes. We're going to try and pull out the most actionable stuff for you. Things you can apply, like, right away.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with Emma, the employee. Her approach is, well, it's pretty remarkable. She kicks things off. She says to David, her manager, I really want to know how I did and where I can improve.
Yeah, that's huge. It's not just being polite, is it?
No, it feels strategic.
Totally. I mean, a key insight right there is that she initiates it. She explicitly says, I want to learn. And that...
Okay, so Emma sets the stage. Now, David, the manager, he gives like a master class in how to deliver feedback.
He really does.
He doesn't just jump into the negatives, does he?
No, that's crucial. He starts by affirming her strengths, building that foundation first.
Right. He points out specific things, like she was incredibly organized throughout the project.
Yeah, and her attention to detail in the planning phase made execution smoother. Specific examples.
And even that, the client appreciated the weekly status updates.
Exactly. And leading with positives like that, it's not just about being nice.
Right. It's tactical.
It really is. It builds psychological safety. When someone feels seen, valued for what they do well, their brain is just more open to hearing the constructive stuff.
Yeah.
It makes the harder feedback actually land better.
That makes sense. It shifts it away from feeling attacked.
Right, from defense to development.
Yeah.
And David even validates her worry about over-communicating.
Oh, yeah, she mentioned that.
Yeah, she wasn't sure, but he reassures her. Says, not at all. If anything, regular updates helped manage expectations.
And kept everyone aligned. That's great. That kind of validation is huge.
It really is.
So with that trust built up, Emma's clearly receptive. She basically invites him to get specific, doesn't she?
She does. She opens the door for him to talk about the growth areas.
Okay, so let's look at how he did that. First up was communication gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this brings up a really important point, proactive communication versus reactive problem solving. So David points out there was some confusion regarding the content calendar.
Okay.
Specifically, the miscommunication between us and the graphic design team.
Ah, okay. Been there.
Right. And his advice is pretty direct, but helpful. Double-checking the timelines with both teams might have helped avoid that.
Simple but effective.
Totally. And Emma owns it too. She reflects, I should have followed up after the initial handoff. That simple, quick confirmation beforehand. It can save so much hassle down the line. It's about preventing fires, not just fighting them.
Right. Saves stress, saves resources.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Okay, so beyond communication, David also touched on something else. This delegation dilemma.
Ah, yes. A classic for high achievers.
Emma admitted she felt like I had to prove I could handle everything.
Which often just leads to being completely swamped.
Totally. I know. I've definitely felt that pressure early in my career. Thinking you have to do it all yourself.
Right. And the thing is, trying to handle everything alone, it's not just inefficient. It puts a huge cognitive load on you.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for burnout, for missing things. So David's advice here.
What was it?
He says, leadership also means trusting others to contribute, and suggests identifying key responsibilities and assigning them based on their strengths.
So it's not just about offloading work.
Not at all. It's about activating the whole team's intelligence, really.
Yeah.
Leveraging different perspectives. You often get better results that way.
Than just one person trying to juggle everything. Makes sense.
Definitely.
Okay, and the third area, presentation nerves.
Yeah. Emma's nervousness during client presentations.
And David didn't just say, be more confident, which is...
Completely unhelpful advice.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead, he offers something concrete, collaborative.
Exactly. He suggests maybe next time we can do a mock presentation beforehand.
Oh, nice.
And Emma jumps at it. I love that. It would really help calm my nerves. Shows how effective that practical approach is.
Yeah, it addresses the root cause, the nerves, with a plan. It's not just pointing out a flaw.
Precisely. It turns the feedback into, like, a joint project for improvement, not a judgment.
I really like that. Okay, so then the conversation takes this really interesting turn, doesn't it?
It does. Emma pivots.
Yeah, she proactively shifts it from just the performance review to her bigger career picture.
She asks David, can I ask, from a leadership perspective, what makes someone stand out in your team?
That's a great question. That's where feedback really fuels strategic development, right?
Couldn't agree more. And David's answer is really insightful, too.
What does he say?
He talks about the ability to take feedback and implement it quickly. That's key.
Okay. Makes sense.
Asking thoughtful questions, taking ownership without waiting for instructions.
Yeah. Initiative.
Yeah, and even spotting problems before I do. He directly links these things to, what sets people up for leadership roles.
So he's giving her the blueprint, essentially.
Pretty much, clarifying the specific actions that lead upwards.
And Emma immediately connects the dots to her own goals. She says, I want to move into more of a strategic role eventually.
Yeah, she's not just passively listening, she's actively thinking, okay, how do I apply this?
Right. She even suggests things herself, like taking a short leadership course or maybe shadowing someone more senior.
Which is fantastic. But what's really striking is David's response.
How so?
He offers immediate tangible support, not just encouragement, but actual steps. He says, I can also involve you in more cross-functional meetings. Explains it's a great way to see how strategy gets built.
Oh, that's valuable experience.
Totally. And he commits to loop you into next quarter's product planning cycle. Real opportunities.
That is a crucial difference, isn't it? Advice is helpful, sure, but...
That it can leave all the work on the employee.
Right. But when the manager actively invests, like David, offering those meetings, it signals a much deeper commitment that really accelerates growth.
Absolutely. It's a hallmark of really effective leadership, I think. When development plans aren't just suggested, but they're actively co-created with real opportunities attached.
Yeah. Okay, so the conversation then kind of circles back, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Back to David's core philosophy. He says, feedback isn't just about finding faults. It's about growth.
And Emma, who seems really energized by this whole thing.
Yeah, you can tell.
She shows her commitment by asking for regular check-ins. Is it okay if I check in with you again in a few weeks to review my progress?
Proactive again.
Totally. And David's response?
He's immediately on board. Suggests a bi-weekly check-in.
So it becomes an ongoing thing.
Exactly. David's point about growth as a journey. It's not just a cliche here.
Right.
It underlines that need for, sustained effort, consistent reevaluation. It turns feedback from just a one-off event.
It's more of a cycle, a loop.
Yeah, a growth loop, where each check-in builds on the last. That's how you get that exponential development.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, the core lesson seems pretty clear. A feedback conversation, when it's well-structured and open like the one we just unpacked, it's a seriously powerful engine.
Right, for improving performance right now.
And for boosting your long-term career trajectory. We saw how important it is to be open to the feedback.
Yeah, like Emma was.
The value of getting specific, actionable advice.
Like David gave.
And how that feedback can directly fuel your own strategic goals.
Absolutely. And this whole deep dive really showed us, didn't it?
Yeah.
That asking for feedback is often that crucial first step.
Yeah.
And it's not just about listening to it, but what you actually do with it afterward.
Right, taking action.
Yeah.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Based on everything we've discussed, what's one specific area, just one, in your professional life, where you could proactively seek out some feedback this week?
Good question.
And then, once you get that feedback, what's one immediate, maybe small, action you could take to start implementing it, to really begin your own deliberate growth journey?